At this point, I'd like to make a short comment about clarifications and ministerial statements. Pursuant to the standing orders of the Model Parliament, ministers are entitled to give statements regarding any matter of public importance. Any other members, ministers included, will be encouraged to raise clarifications, but only to the minister involved that delivered the statement. So, for example, just now I took a clarification that was directed to the Shadow Minister of Home Affairs. That actually is not in order. But if members deem it necessary to invoke other members in their comment, we will then have to see to how that member concerned will be able to address those clarifications. But for this point in time, all comments and clarifications will be directed to those ministers that made the statements that we had just listened to, specifically the Minister of Finance and the Minister for Law. Is that clear with all honourable members? Thank you. We will now proceed with the discussion. Are there any members wishing to make clarifications?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. The member from Bukit Panjang would like to raise a clarification to the Minister of Law regarding a recent statement about indoor assembly. As you know, indoor assembly venues are largely either private and public ones are strictly controlled by either the Singapore Sports Council or the Ministry of Community, Youth and Sports. Now, I'd like to cite a recent example. In 2011, following the general election, in Aljunied GRC, Mr. Chen Shoma was not allowed to attend his own indoor event. In that sense, many a time, even indoor venues are strictly restricted for political means. He also raised the point that the ruling party is not permitted to hold outdoor rallies and demonstrations if necessary. And I'd like to say that I highly doubt this. Thank you.
Minister for Law.
Let me clarify your statement. You highly doubt that the ruling party is not allowed to hold outdoor rallies, and what is your basis for saying that? May I ask? Anyway, the need to protect public space is evident because we need to protect some public space must be protected for the general public, and yeah, this is what public space is meant for the general use of the public without any encumbrances from political parties or any other organizations. So that is the rationale for maintaining this public space. We do acknowledge that there are some isolated incidences like the one the member has cited, and I believe investigations are still going on. I'm not privy to the details, but I would update the member separately once I'm privy to the information. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister for Law. Are there any other members wishing to make a... I believe Mr. Damon Tan. You may make the clarification.
Morning, Mr. Speaker, gentlemen, ladies. I want to ask the Minister of Law, if by what yardstick are we choosing who is going to take part in such an activity? Who is allowed to hold such rally or such so-called pseudo-political rallies indoor? Is it the opposition? Is it the government? Or is it someone who has been appointed by the government or the public? What I'm saying right now is that the yardstick is determined by government. So how do we know that it's not going to be biased against other political parties which are not aligned with government? In other words, currently anybody who wants to hold such a rally has to have the permission of the government. So what happens when a government doesn't allow political rallies to do so, simply because it's the one controlling who is allowed to hold such a rally?
Minister for Law.
I believe the member is confusing rules regarding indoor discussions and outdoor rallies. With regards to indoor discussions, there's basically no restriction on who can hold an indoor discussion as long as it doesn't disturb the public order in general. And in Singapore, there are a variety of political societies, political parties, who get registered with the Registry of Societies. So the body that actually grants these approves these associations is the Registry of Societies, and they again have power conferred by legislation which is regulated, which ultimately has to be in line with the Article 14 of the Constitution. With regards to outdoor rallies, as I have mentioned before, Speaker's Corner is open to everyone, and only under special, only special areas of discussion or sensitive areas like race and religion are prohibited. And other than that, there's basically no restriction on political parties who want to have indoor discussions or peaceful outdoor rallies in the Speaker's Corner. So I hope this clarifies the members' concern.
Any other members wishing to raise a clarification? Please take the microphone.
Thank you, Speaker Sir. I'd like to seek a point of clarification from the Law Minister. Okay, ever since I was elected into this Parliament, something mysteriously happened. That what happened was 13 sites from my own constituency were transferred to the PA, People's Association. After which I was not allowed to go and attend any functions there, or was I allowed to actually hold any functions there? Because even if they were to hold any functions there and invite me as the elected member of Parliament, I would not be able to go and attend because PA states that it's a non-partisan organization, so anyone from a political party is not able to be present at such events. So the question now is, as an elected member of Parliament, I'm there to serve my residents, so I should be able to gain rights to serve my residents by attending these community events. I just put it, the point is, if the Minister of Law states that all political parties have the right to hold events indoor, then why isn't this not happening? Thank you.
At this point, I'll look forward to the independence. Would any independent member like to raise any point of clarification to the ministers who have just delivered their statements? I look forward to your participation. At this point, that's not in order because no bills have been introduced yet. But I'll gladly take a point of clarification. Yeah.
As the MP of Koni Ubin, I would like to clarify on the Minister of Law's point that demonstration outdoors means violence on the streets, and the reason for actually banning this is for the public space safeguard. So since that you have said that the curtailing of demonstrations outdoors is due to the safeguard of public space, are you implying that all other political parties will resort into violence during their demonstrations? Please clarify on that.
Minister for Law.
The reason public demonstrations are not permitted is because of the tendency to escalate into violence, and this would severely cause public disorder. So this is a tendency that has to escalate. With regards to the opposition and ruling party, as I said earlier, the ruling party is still subject to the rules, and we are still not allowed to have public outdoor rallies. So in this sense, the opposition and the ruling party have to obey the same rules.
Shadow Minister of Defence.
Okay, this is just to clarify and as well as to make more concise what my Minister for Manpower was trying to raise, in which he believed there is an unfair contradiction in the rules being enforced by the government, in the sense that although opposition MPs cannot promote their political ideas at grassroots events, government MPs can, because by automatically being a government MP, they are also grassroots advisors, and thus they can promote their political ideas under the cover of the government's ideas rather than the ideas of their political party. And thus, in that sense, the government isn't exactly subjected to rules, because at the end of the day, the opposition MP, the government MPs can promote what political ideas and brands they like under the cover of it's the government and not the ruling party's ideas, what the opposition cannot. The Shadow Minister of Defense would just like a clarification from the Minister of Law. How is this in just technicality? So why is it that the government appears to be, unlike what she has said, not subjected to the rules?
Minister for Law.
So, okay, the member's question is on community events which opposition MPs attend. And well, by virtue of being part of the government, the ruling party, I guess policy announcements or any ideas relating to policy may be construed as trying to promote their political ideas. However, perhaps the line is always in a grey spectrum. For these things, there's never a black and white. And perhaps the line can be drawn where it goes beyond policy, alternative policy objectives to explicitly supporting the party. So at community events, as long as it does not escalate into, as long as it does not cause public disorder, our ministry is not, this government does not object to opposition members of parliament promoting alternative policy ideas. And we hope this clarifies the members' concern.
Thank you, Minister for Law. At this point, I'll take two last clarifications. Yeah, the front bench, the one in the far end. Front bench, yeah, yes, you. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, sir. Well, as for the ideals of a democracy, a social democracy like us, Singapore, citizens do have to respect the state. It's a given. But does that mean arbitrary restrictions and possible incarceration? Members of the House, Singapore is not a monopoly. We do not go to jail when we roll a bad die. Sure, incarceration is necessary for those who infringe upon the freedom of speech. But is there transparency to uphold freedom of speech? Today we are called a democratic state for a reason. The rights, our rights, should belong to us as a nation, and the right to decide national policies for our country belong to us, not just the ruling government. Do you not agree? Therefore, do you not think the general use of space can be used for deciding national policies for citizens, for our communities, and for our nation? Do you not think that what you have just mentioned with regards to mass gathering in a public place for political reasons is a paradox within itself? Thank you.
Minister for Law.
Well, what our ministry stand is that as long as policy objectives are discussed in a non-partisan manner, we do not object to alternative policy suggestions that the opposition members of parliament can make at public events. We do acknowledge that democracy means participation by the citizens, and we are actively trying to reach out to citizens in terms of what suggestions they have and in terms of crafting this budget before you today. Thank you.
One last point of clarification.